Respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your deeds and a'mal in this blessed month of Ramadan. One of the questions that many people have about the sighting of the moon, when the lunar month is established, when do we start the month of Ramadan, when do we have Eid, is why is there this difference amongst the maraja? Based on the ruling of one marja, tomorrow can be Eid. Based on the ruling of another marja, in 2 days from now, it's the Eid. Why is there this difference? This issue, my dear brothers and sisters, every year, people make controversies out of it. Sometimes you even see families. They struggle with this point. One spouse may be following a marja who declares Eid tomorrow. Another spouse may be following another marja who has ruled that another day is Eid. Or the parents follow a marja and the children follow another marja. And you see that as we get closer to Eid, people feel frustrated. Why is it that we have two Eids? And why is it that the maraja have these different opinions? Is it because some of them believe in science and astronomical calculations and others don't? What's going on here? I would like to give you an overview, my dear brothers and sisters, of the jurisprudential discussion on the sighting of the moon. Please understand that it's not an issue of a marja' believing in science or not. All the maraja', they believe in science. When science presents us facts, obviously our scholars do not dispute that. This issue is not a scientific issue, it's a jurisprudential issue. There are two discussions about sighting the moon. One is whether we have one horizon or multiple horizons. This discussion in Arabic is labeled as ta'addud al-afaq, which means the multiplicity of horizons, or wahdat al-afaq, the unity of horizons. Unity of horizons, wahdat al-afaq, basically means that we share the horizon with other parts in the world, with other cities in the world. So if the moon is seen somewhere, for instance, the moon is seen in California, we can follow them. The moon is seen in Brazil, we can follow them. It establishes the month for us. The multiplicity of horizons, ta'addud al-afaq, basically means that no, each area has its own local sighting. And if the moon is seen in that geographic area, then the lunar month starts, the month of Ramadan starts, the Eid starts. So scholars examine this issue. Some of them believe in the unity of horizons, some of them believe in the multiplicity of horizons. Now this is a very detailed and complex jurisprudential discussion. I will summarize to you the main points here. Those maraja' who believe in the multiplicity of horizons, they've used many arguments. What are two main arguments that they've used jurisprudentially? One argument that some have used is that the moon is just like the sun. When it comes to sunrise and sunset, when it comes to our day, don't we go by the local sighting of the sun? When you say sunrise is at 6:30 a.m., what do you mean by 6:30 a.m.? You mean your area. Just like sunrise and sunset is local, then the moon is also local for you. The circulation of the moon is also local for you. So if we were to have a moonrise or moonset, let's call it symbolically, when you have a new moon, this should also be local. So this is one argument. Now many scholars have not accepted this argument. They've said that the moon is different from the sun. Sunrise and sunset, yes, you go by your geographic location. But when it comes to the moon, we have one new moon for the whole planet. Now we have a new moon that's entered this phase for the entire planet. It's not just for one city. So this is one counter argument. But here's the second argument that scholars have used, and it's a pretty strong one. They've mentioned that if you look at the life and biography and the legacy of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, when they would establish the new month, either declare that tomorrow is the first of the month of Ramadan or tomorrow is Eid, you don't see the Prophet and the Imams making an effort to get reports from other cities. See, if we had one horizon, they argue, then the Prophet and the Imams, they should have waited to get reports from other cities. They should have told their community, wait, let's not declare tomorrow Eid yet, or not Eid yet. Let's wait from neighboring areas, from other countries. If we hear reports from them, then at this point, we will decide whether tomorrow is Ramadan, whether tomorrow is Eid. We don't see the Imams asking about these other locations. And this gives us confidence that in Islamic law, you go by your own geographic location. You don't wait for other locations. If the moon is visible in your area to the naked eye, according to many scholars, or if the scientific calculations give you confidence that the moon is definitely visible in your area, then you can go by that. Otherwise, you cannot follow other geographic locations. So these are some two quick arguments. What about those who believe in the unity of horizons? They say, no, anywhere that you share a night with, even if it's thousands of miles away, if they see the moon, you can follow them. What is one main argument they've used? One main argument they've used is a hadith from one of the companions of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, Abdurrahman ibn Abdullah. He says, I asked the Imam alayhi salam about the sighting of the moon, and it's the 29th of Sha'ban. I don't know if tomorrow is the month of Ramadan or not. So if you don't know that tomorrow is Ramadan or not, you assume that Sha'ban continues. You assume it's the 30th of Sha'ban, so you don't have to fast. In this hadith, the Imam alayhi salam tells him, but if you hear a report from another city that they've seen the moon, then you make up the fast for the 30th of Sha'ban. Because in reality, when other people saw it in other cities, this reveals that the day which you did not fast, which is the 30th Sha'ban according to your count, was actually the first of Ramadan. And you came to know that later. And therefore, you have to make this up after the month of Ramadan. Obviously, you don't pay any kafara because you didn't deliberately break your fast. You thought Sha'ban continues. You couldn't see the moon. But since other cities saw it, then technically Ramadan had started for you. You did not know, so make up that day. So some scholars have used this hadith as evidence that we have one horizon for, the planet. Wherever you share a night with, you basically follow them if they see the moon. So, my dear brothers and sisters, these are two jurisprudential opinions here. Is it the unity of horizons, or is it the multiplicity of horizons? And the Maraji', they have different understandings of the jurisprudence behind it. And based on that, they've issued their fatwa. There is much more to this discussion, but I would like to keep it simple and brief, just so we have an overview of why there are these differences and to appreciate the effort that our scholars make in trying to better understand this. The next discussion, my dear brothers and sisters, is seeing the moon with the eye or with the telescope. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.